So before we get started talking about Castle Swimmer, tell me a little bit about yourself, uh, both as a reader of comics or cartoons and as a creator.
Hmm. Well, I've always been doing art and wanting to make comics ever since I was younger. I'm actually from the Midwest. I grew up in Iowa, and I just recently, I think like 2 years ago, moved to Seattle. Um, but yeah, it was hard to find good kind of comics and media in the middle of the Midwest in Iowa. So I spent a lot of time online. But I think when I was younger, I've always been into comics in different forms. So when I was growing up, I was into those like book-sized prints of like strips of Garfield and like Calvin and Hobbes. And then when I was became a teenager in high school, I got into manga and other types of graphic novels. So I've always been wanting to make comics, and I have done that now.
So what it sounds like reading them when it made you want to become a creative yourself. Was there any other thing that kind of inspired you to, you know, try to make your own?
Yeah, well, I was into art, so I liked doing art. I always liked drawing. I think for a short while I considered like being an illustrator, but I just really enjoyed storytelling, and like comics is like the perfect, mix of art and storytelling without the more complicated skills like animation and having to get a whole team for a big project. So it was kind of the right balance of things to fulfill me creatively.
All right, so let's talk about Castle Swimmer. As I said, we're volume two, but which assumes that there's a volume one. So this is like the second half of the story or another part of the story. So for those who aren't familiar with the webtoon series, tell us a little bit about about